When you sit with yourself with no noise, no applause, no distractions, there is a question you must confront. Who are you going to become over the next 15 years? Most people never answer it. They drift, they adapt to circumstances, they react to life instead of designing it. But greatness does not happen by accident, and it never grows in confusion. It begins with clarity. It begins with direction. Cristiano didn't walk into the world as a legend. He walked in as a boy with a vision so sharp it cut through doubt, poverty, criticism, and fear. He knew where he wanted to go before the world even knew his name. And that is where your journey truly starts. Not with effort, but with intention. Because when your vision is weak, your choices become random. But when your vision is strong, your choices become powerful. Every decision becomes filtered through your purpose. You stop asking, "Is this easy?" and start asking, "Does this move me closer to who I am becoming?" Those are two different lives, two different futures. The next 15 years will not be shaped by luck or talent alone. They will be shaped by the clarity of your identity and the discipline of your actions. You must ask yourself uncomfortable questions. What skill will I master? What field will I dominate? What habits will I build? Who must I become to live the life I dream of? These questions are not fantasy, they are architecture. You are not just living time, you are investing it. Every day is a brick, every hour is a choice, and the life you stand inside 15 years from now will be the house built by the choices you make today. Cristiano's greatness was not in being the most gifted, it was in being the most committed, the most obsessive, the most intentional. He didn't look at the world and wait to see where life takes him. He set a direction and forced life to follow. He decided his future before he arrived in it. He built the identity of a champion before the trophy showed up. That is the mindset you must cultivate, not reacting to circumstances, but creating your destiny through vision and relentless alignment. Understand this deeply. Time is not neutral. Time amplifies what you feed it. If you feed it hesitation, distraction, fear, and excuses, time will give you regret. If you feed it focus, effort, clarity, and discipline, time will give you transformation. The next 15 years will pass regardless, but how they pass depends on how you use the next 15 minutes. Most people dream of success without designing the life that produces it. They say, "I want more," yet they never define what more looks like. They want greatness, but refuse the responsibility that comes with it, the responsibility to lead their own life with purpose. So pause, breathe, look inward. Strip away the noise and the opinions of others. Forget who you were told you are. What do you want? Who do you choose to become? This is not a motivational exercise. It is self-direction. It is a declaration of identity. When you commit to a clear destination, your mind shifts, your habits align, your environment evolves, your energy reorganizes around your mission. Suddenly you stop living day to day and start building decade to decade. And understand, clarity does not mean perfection. It means commitment. You will not know every step. You do not need to. Cristiano didn't know every result when he started. He knew one thing. He refused to be ordinary. He refused to live without becoming everything he could be. That was enough to fuel his decisions, and the decisions built the destiny. So focus less on predicting the future and more on creating the version of yourself capable of shaping it. You don't need certainty. You need direction. You don't need guarantees. You need belief. You don't need approval. You need standards. Purpose begins as a whisper inside you, a quiet conviction that you are meant for more. And it grows louder every time you choose discipline over distraction, growth over comfort, meaning over noise. Your next breakthrough is not in learning how to grind. It is in learning why you grind. The purpose gives power to the effort. The vision gives structure to the sacrifice. And once you know your mission, The world can no longer distract you, because you are not simply living time, you are building legacy. So ask yourself, right now, with honesty and courage, what life will you wake up into 15 years from today if you live with purpose for the next 15 minutes? Hold that answer. Build that answer. Protect that answer. Because the future belongs to the person who plans it, believes in it, and works for it when nobody is watching. Define your next 15 years today, or the world will define them for you. Discipline is not about waking up early or training harder than others. That's the surface. Discipline is identity. It is who you believe you are when nobody is looking, when there is no applause, when you are tired, frustrated, or doubtful. Motivation can push you for a day, a week, maybe a month, but identity pulls you for a lifetime. When you become the kind of person who simply does not quit, who does not break under pressure, who does not negotiate with laziness, your path begins to change, quietly, powerfully, permanently. Cristiano didn't wake up every day feeling motivated. He woke up committed. There is a difference. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline answers, feelings don't decide my destiny. When you turn discipline into identity, the work becomes a natural expression of who you are. You don't force discipline. You embody it. You don't say, I'll try. You say, this is what I do. The world sees the buy, the speed, the trophies, but the real engine behind greatness is the invisible discipline that happens long before success is visible. Most people treat discipline like a switch they flip on and off depending on mood. Champions treat it like oxygen, necessary, non-negotiable. They don't rely on emotion because emotion is unstable. Emotion fluctuates, purpose does not. Cristiano's career wasn't built on passion alone. It was built on structure, routine, repetition, and sacrifice. He didn't train once and become great. He trained again and again, on days he was tired, on days he was sore, on days he didn't feel inspired. He outlasted his own excuses. And that is where the divide begins. People who seek comfort remain average, not because they lack talent, but because they lack endurance. They start strong and fade fast. They chase excitement instead of consistency. They want results without ritual, progress without persistence. Life does not reward desire, it rewards discipline. The universe respects the person who shows up even when it hurts, even when it's boring, even when nobody notices. Understand, discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It frees you from regret, from weakness, from the chaos of uncertainty. When you train your mind and habits, you liberate yourself from the noise of distraction and the temptation of laziness. You become grounded, focused, unshakable. There is dignity in discipline. There is pride in knowing you lived with intention. It is not glamorous every day. It is not easy, but it shapes you into someone rare, someone who can be trusted with excellence. Consistency is creativity. Repetition is self-mastery. When you repeat greatness long enough, it becomes instinct. Your body remembers, your mind remembers. It becomes harder not to work than to work. That is when you have crossed the threshold, when discipline stops being effort and becomes nature. Cristiano didn't chase motivation, he built momentum. He didn't need hype, he had habits. Ask yourself, do your actions match your ambitions? Do you behave like the person you want to become? It's easy to say you want greatness, but greatness has a cost. It demands your evenings, your mornings, your comfort, your ego. It demands that you sacrifice who you are for who you could be. And if you are not prepared to pay that price, then you are not prepared for the life you imagine. There is a psychological truth. What you repeat, you reinforce. Every disciplined act strengthens your identity. Every moment of weakness you surrender to weakens it. So your choices are not just choices. They are votes for the future version of yourself. Who were you voting for today? The disciplined self or the distracted self? the visionary or the passive dreamer? Every hour answers that silently. Cristiano didn't become the best by expecting the world to push him. He pushed himself.